What it do, flight crew? FTC. Flight team stand up! We got some so fresh, so clean, educational-ish. Why haven't y'all gave me a January quote yet? Are you kidding me? Most like January quote will be used. If it's too corny, we can always try again in February. But it's the last shot, alright? With that being said, man, prehistoric Australia was a pure nightmare fuel. And here is why. I ain't gonna lie, by the thumbnail, it looks like something crazy. One of the things that I've always wondered, bro, when it came to like dinosaurs or other prehistoric animals, like what state or what country did they have like the most like active and craziest prehistoric animals or dinosaurs? I don't know why, like all these years, I've always thought like the states like Montana and like, you know what I'm saying, like the Midwest, like the middle of nowhere parts of like the US had like most of the dinosaurs. But coming to find out over the past few years, a lot of the dinosaurs was all around, like, because it was like the Pangea, of course. So there was most of the time, a lot of it was in like, you know, South America. The main parts was like Australia, because it makes sense with Australia because you have like the stuff like the great whites. You have a couple of them like crazy other animals that still exist today. So let's see, man, how scary it was back then. Let's check it out.
Just like how everything is bigger in Texas, everything is deadlier in Australia.
Wow.
Mostly the nature, as it's home to a highly disproportionate amount of potentially lethal.
See, this is actually crazy, bro. Like, and first of all, yo, prayers to everybody in LA. I don't know what is going on, bro. Like, but bro, it's been so windy today, and not even that. There's hella wildfires out there. So I wanted to send prayers to anybody that had the evacuators going through any wildfires out there. Please stay safe, actually, brothers and sisters, or any new viewers out there. But with that being said, bro, no, bro, like this is actually crazy. Like you see this like list right here. Australia is a pretty small, like, you know what I'm saying, country. And just the fact, bro, like literally everything that you damn near touch animal wise, like it can kill you, bro. Like
animals, having more venomous species than all but
whoa,
the amount of potentially lethal.
Whoa, they have jellyfish that are like that can end you? They have well, I ain't gonna lie, I knew bees like that are like from Africa, like the Africanized honeybees. I thought those are the ones that are the most deadly. I didn't know they were in Australia. Then you have the irracundi jellyfish. This spider name is kind of crazy. Trapdoor spider, bro. Yo, the spider selling that pack animal engine. Nah,
animals,
just kidding.
Having more venomous species than all but 2 countries. Yet, it takes the cake when only considering venomous animals that are fatal to humans. On top of this, it is home to 20 of the 25 most deadly snakes in the world,
Irwin,
including all of the top 11. And it's the native country of one of the only birds known to
Bro, is that a rooster?
Occasionally kill humans.
Why does it have a blue neck and like a scrotum sac on its neck? Pause.
The cassowary.
Why is it looking at me like that, bro?
Meanwhile, you also have the classics like the saltwater crocodile,
bro.
cassowary. Meanwhile, you also have the classics.
Is this supposed to be a koala? I thought koalas were sweet. Bro, this thing looked like it'll bite your head off in your sleep.
Like the saltwater crocodile, great white shark, spiders, and potent jellyfish. And in case you needed a little more proof that Australia really is the land of nope, you should know that it's where some of the largest insects in the world call home, is one of the few places where pine cones can kill you, and is where the top 3 largest wildfires in the 21st century took place. The list could go on and on, but you get the idea. So maybe
whoa, no.
The list could go on.
No.
But you get the idea.
No, we're not gonna just move past this without. We have a crocodonky that exists, guys. If you haven't already been alerted, bro, go ahead and find property on other planets, bro. Bro, a crocodonky. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, man. I told you I'm literally in my travel era, man. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't just try and do our best start of this month, by the way. But man, should I be going to Australia, bro? Somebody let me know. Bro, the minute I run into a crocodonky, bro, you'll never see me on planet Earth. Bro, what the hell is this? Why is this the first time that I'm hearing about this? What the hell is a crocodonky? Bro, Australia is its own planet, bro, alone.
So it may be hard to stomach the fact that Australia is actually much more tame than it used to be. And I'm not talking about the fact that it used to be home to dinosaurs, but rather giant monitor lizards and terrestrial crocodiles, just to name a couple. And surprisingly, you don't even have to travel that far back to arrive at this forsaken Australia, as it reached its peak in chaoticness about 50,000 years ago, which is right around when humans first arrived. Talk about good timing. Back in those days, reptilian predators, not mammalian, ruled Australia.
Is that a koala monkey?
Those days,
I know what this nigga is. It's a Komodo dragon. I know my animals. But what is this in the background? Look how big this is, bro. Bro, what is this?
Reptilian predators, not mammalian, ruled Australia. And it wouldn't take long for anyone to realize that something was very wrong once they set foot on land, as there were a host of nightmarish creatures wandering around. One being a literal land croc. Not a crocodile lookalike, but a genuine real crocodilian that happened to run comfortably on land. This creature was known as the quincana, and it was one of Australia's top predators during the Pleistocene.
Hell no.
It shared many features with the crocodiles we know of today, and was once even considered a true crocodile. Although, thanks to a very odd skull structure, it was moved to the extinct clade of Mecosukene. Along with the odd skull, paleontologists also noticed that it had some strange legs as well, that were very long for a crocodilian, allowing it to keep its body clear of terrain and potentially sprint. This has led to it being considered a terrestrial predator, with further evidence coming from its hoof-like toes and flat tail, which wasn't designed for swimming. Unfortunately for all land dwellers, the quincana was also no small critter, with most adults measuring 3 meters or 10 feet, and weighing 200 kilograms or 440 pounds.
Wow.
Making it nearly identical in weight to a medium-sized American alligator. Not to worry though, as there were larger individuals as well, with one specimen reaching 6 meters or 20 feet in length. At this size, it had no problem taking down mammals, including an unlucky human from time to time. Getting attacked by this croc was an absolute nightmare, as its teeth were designed to slice animals up like a filet mignon, with each tooth being blade-like, compressed, and heavily serrated. These kind of teeth are referred to as xiphidon teeth, and is what was commonly seen in theropods. Having such vicious dentition let the quincana take down animals that were considerably larger than itself, with each bite tearing through large portions of flesh and muscle. There's a chance as well that you couldn't even outsmart this croc by jumping in the water, as there is some evidence that it was an accomplished swimmer, in spite of spending most of its life on land. Shockingly, or maybe by this point, unshockingly, even a terrestrial croc that could swim and had dinosaur-like teeth wasn't safe from other Australian creatures, as there was also the largest known terrestrial lizard walking around, Megalania. There's a fair chance you've heard of this reptile due to its recent popularity.
No, I haven't.
Yet, you may not have heard that it's no longer known as the Megalania, rather Varanus priscus, meaning it was actually a giant species of monitor lizard. Despite this classification change, the Megalania is still usually referred to by its original name, perhaps because it's much more fitting as it translates to the Great Roamer, a nod to its massive size, and massive it was. Paleontologists never seem to agree on the exact measurements, but all estimates have given it a length of at least 3.5 meters or 11 feet, with an approximate weight of 158 kilograms or 348 pounds. So at the minimum, we are talking about a lizard that was as long as a sea lion and as heavy as a reindeer.
Wow.
And at its maximum, things frankly got crazy, with studies finding it to have potentially obtained lengths of up to 7.9 meters or 26 feet, which is based on fragmented remains that were scaled up to living monitor lizards.
Wow, bro.
This would have made them just as lengthy as the longest recorded anaconda, but 8.5 times heavier due to its robust build, with an absolute maximum weight of 2 tons. However, for the most part, large Megalania were probably...
Bro, imagine seeing that walking out, bro. Bro, it looks like it literally looks like an eel, a barracuda, and a lizard combined, bro. Like,
no more than 575 kilograms or 1,200 pounds. Although it wasn't only a giant, as like living monitor lizards, the Megalania possessed razor-sharp teeth that were fairly long and recurved, granting extra grip while holding onto prey. The Megalania is further thought to have used its tremendously powerful legs and sharp claws to bring down prey and foe alike. Naturally, in true Australian fashion, the Megalania might have been venomous as well due to its heritage, since all monitor lizards presently living are considered to be venomous. Their venom, similar to what is seen in some snakes, works as an anticoagulant, meaning it prevents blood from clotting, which leads to shock and infections as it keeps wounds open for longer periods of time.
Wow.
And because the Komodo dragon, also known as the Komodo monitor, is the Megalania's closest living relative, certain
Bro, one thing, no matter what anybody gotta say, bro, we have to be blessed that there's literally like no venomous humans, bro. Like, can you imagine like a platinum menace to society, bro? Like, that doesn't feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, just imagine. Like, that's all I gotta say. Imagine if somebody is venomous where they can just bite you one time, bro, and within 2 minutes, bro, you're done. Like, thank goodness it is only in certain animals around the world, bro. Because, man...
Paleontologists believe that the two shared similar hunting tactics of biting prey, retreating, and then letting the venom do the work. So that's to say, even if you managed to get away from an attacking Megalania, you would still be doomed. All of these attributes make Megalania feasibly the worst thing you could have run into. Unless, that is, you have ophidiophobia, a fear of snakes. In this case, your mortal enemy back then would have been Wonambi. This name may not sound like much, but it should strike fear into any who hears it, as it belongs to a now extinct giant serpent that lived right alongside both the Quincana and Megalania. This snake is unlike any we know of today, for it belonged to a family of now extinct snakes known as the Matsoidae. Snakes from this family were primarily characterized by somewhat inflexible primitive jaws and giant sizes, with the Wonambi being one of the biggest. It didn't quite reach the length of the longest living snakes of today, but came awfully close, with the larger specimens having a length of 6 meters or 20 feet, equivalent to a large Burmese python. Luckily for us, the Wonambi did break the Australian trend of possessing venom. Nevertheless, its size still rendered it a potent killer, who might have hunted in a very similar fashion to the extant constrictor snakes, which is to say, by using ambushes near bodies of water to strike unsuspecting prey that were then killed by tightening its muscles and squeezing the animal so hard that blood couldn't reach their brain or heart, thus incapacitating them. Afterwards, though, is where things got different, because as mentioned, the Wonambi had an inflexible and somewhat smaller head that couldn't swallow prey whole. This may sound like a good thing for prey, but in reality, it just made the snake more nightmarish, as to make up for this inability, it would simply use its sharp teeth and powerful body to tear chunks off prey, sometimes even disemboweling them. Such an unpleasant way to go out may have been more common for early Australians than being preyed upon by the Megalania or Quincana, as one study found that in some indigenous populations today, snake attacks by constrictors are a common cause of death. By now, it would be reasonable for you to wonder how any mammal could survive living with so many reptilian horrors. And the answer is, the mammals were just as crazy, best exemplified by the Thylacoleo. This mammal is best known for its immense size, with adults being the largest known mammalian predators to ever live in Australia. On average, specimens were about the same size as a European wild boar, while the largest Thylacoleo were on par with fully matured female lions and tigers, with whom it also shared a few characteristics. Yet, this was no feline. Far from it, actually, as the Thylacoleo was really a marsupial mammal that is most closely related to the koala. And like the koala, it's thought that the Thylacoleo had a smaller brain. However, in its case, a smaller brain was a huge advantage, as it gave the skull more space for extremely dense muscles and wide, sturdy bones.
Wow.
That ultimately led to the strongest bite, pound for pound, of any known mammal. It's been estimated that a medium-sized Thylacoleo was capable of biting with the same force as a lion 2.5 times its size, leading paleontologists to suspect that this marsupial was capable of taking down big-bodied prey that were 15 times heavier than itself, and it likely did so in an extremely unique fashion.
What's that?
Thanks to its dentition, which consisted of large incisors that were similar to the elongated canines seen in other mammals.
Watermelon.
Furthermore, it boasted giant premolars that almost resembled flat blades. Together, with its powerful muscles, these bizarre teeth worked wonders, killing animals by piercing deep into the flesh with the incisors, while the premolars severed the poor animal's windpipe, spinal cord, and arteries, causing all sorts of fatal problems. This mode of killing was so efficient that researchers think it took less than a minute for this marsupial lion to kill large prey, while the same task for an African lion can take up to 15 minutes or more. And for whatever reason, if its bite didn't do the trick, the Thylacoleo had lethal claws as well. On each of its front feet, there was a single large retractable claw that was attached to semi-opposable thumbs. This implied it could move these claws around with ease and dish out killing blows if needed. These additional weapons were also hooked, leading to the idea that Thylacoleo was a climber who possibly dragged kills up trees like leopards do. Climbing further allowed it to navigate caves and rough terrain, adding another layer of complexity to this already overpowered marsupial. And so with all of this said, Australia had no doubt some pretty terrifying predators all around, making life fairly interesting for the first humans to arrive. And for them, they wouldn't even be able to find peace around the herbivores. As in response to biological killing machines, the herbivores got pretty ferocious themselves. A good demonstration of this is the Diprotodon, an extinct marsupial whose closest living relative is the wombat. The two also did look in some ways similar, except unlike the wombat, the Diprotodon was massive, plausibly weighing up to 3.85 tons, which makes it equal in weight to a fully grown Asian elephant. This size gave it much needed durability and would have made hunting it a questionable endeavor, a task further discouraged by the presence of a surprisingly strong bite. The Diprotodon was strictly a vegetarian, but nonetheless it still had a nasty bite that reached 11,000 newtons in force at the back molars, giving it more than enough power to technically break a human's femur. In addition to elephant-sized wombats, birds too were supersized in prehistoric Australia at the time, especially the Genyornis. This ancient bird resembled the once widespread terror birds. However, it actually belonged to a separate family of flightless birds, known as the Dromornithidae, or thunderbirds. All members of this family, Genyornis included, are believed to have been herbivores despite their menacing appearances. Though, like many ancient Australian creatures, they did have size to help balance their defenses out. The Genyornis in particular routinely grew to heights taller than humans, with the average individual coming in at 2 meters or 6.5 feet. Moreover, this bird had giant robust bones that gave it durability and heftiness, resulting in it weighing a full quarter of a ton. And if its size wasn't enough of a deterrent, the Genyornis could always use its beak or sharp claws to ward off predators that got too close. By now, it should be obvious that ancient Australia was the last place you'd want to visit. And just to really drive it all home, remember that nearly every dangerous animal in Australia today was also still around back then. And that's not to mention other extinct animals which I didn't mention, including large turtles and additional extinct crocodilians like the Paludorex. And of course, nature itself was also harsh with extreme droughts being present. And yet, despite all of these odds, humans still survived in Australia. In fact, not only did they survive, but they managed to thrive and dominate the lands, with evidence showing that they preyed upon multiple of the megafauna mentioned today, suggesting that maybe we were actually the scariest animals around during those times. Thanks for watching, and until next time on Extinct Zoo.
Hey man, like, when you see things like these, bro, like, you gotta just have no choice but to just be grateful for what you got in your life, bro. Because like I said, bro, a lot of these, all of them had to literally hunt for their food back in the day. It's not like they had no Whole Foods. There was no Publix that existed. There was no corner stores that existed where you can get stuff, like nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You got to hunt for your food every day. You're not guaranteed. First of all, you know what I'm saying? You got to make sure you got to wash that bit correctly. A lot of them probably didn't even have the knowledge to wash certain animals and certain just species the right way. Probably a lot of them got sick or became unalived or whatever. Nonetheless, okay, let's say you do get your food. Then you got to watch out for these crazy ass back in the day animals, bro, with literal 99 badges in every category, dog. Like, man, like I promise you, man, like people that was living back then, and had no complaints whatsoever, I low-key be feeling bad, man. Can't you imagine, bro? Like, they was probably like, damn, like, I wish I had, like, some type of, like, enjoying video game or something. They was even able to think of a video game type of word. And then now we just sitting today, and we sitting here raging at, you know what I'm saying, things like 2K, fuck Ronnie and Mike Wang, and you know what I'm saying, like, you know, football, college football, or in Madden, or the CODs and the Fortnites and stuff like that, bro. Man. Hey, man, comment down below which one of these animals were the worst out of all.